Welcome to the Kerrville Lead for April 6, 2024. With the solar eclipse 2 days away, we're going to focus all of our stories today on the solar eclipse. The 2 days out and everyone's bracing for it, but probably no group more than the Hill Country Arts Foundation. The foundation expects more than 2,300 people to attend events or camp on its grounds along the Guadalupe. Of course, weather is still problematic, and there's at this point a 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms. HCAF Director Jeanette Peterson, or rather the coordinators, said they are expecting some 73 overnight guests who will join the affair starting on Sunday night. The eclipse is years in the making, but the planning has been a lot of last-second planning. So the HCAF parking lot will be full, so will the Ingram Little League, which is planning to purchase netting with the money that is made by the parked cars. The executive director said this is a huge deal, and it's a true blessing for nonprofits. At Shriner, the director of auxiliary service, Adrian Weingart, said the university will be visited from people literally from all over the world, and it's a continuing theme for many organizers. Even Ingram is going to have an event with car charges for up to $40 per card. The weather, as I mentioned, still kind of iffy or unknown at this time. The National Weather Service remains steady that Monday will feature cloudy skies, but they're holding on to something we all understand here in Texas, which is spring is incredibly unpredictable. The National Weather Service does not expect much rain, but its concern is the cloud cover and how translucent the high clouds will be. Thin high clouds would allow for filtered visibility. Thicker high clouds could result in fewer visibility. The city of Kerrville is expecting much heavier traffic than normal on Monday. I've heard reports that up to 200,000 people could be in attendance, as well as 8 to 10 hours of delays on I-10 if you're trying to travel home on Monday. So be careful, be safe. If you're here, please enjoy yourself. Try to be neighborly and friendly and don't take advantage of people. Things are going to take a little bit longer than usual, but it's going to be spectacular, whatever happens. And remember, 4 minutes, 24 seconds of totality. This is Tom Fox. I hope you enjoyed this edition of the Kerrville Weekly News Roundup. This podcast is a production of the Texas Hill Country Podcast Network. If you've enjoyed this podcast, I hope you will subscribe or rate and review this podcast wherever great podcasts are listened to. I hope you'll join Gilbert, Andrew, and myself next week, where we take a look at some of the top stories from Kerrville and the surrounding Hill Country area. Thanks so much for listening. This is Tom Fox. Thank you so much for listening to the inaugural episode of the Kerrville Weekly News Roundup. This podcast is a special production of the Texas Hill Country Podcast Network. We now have 10 podcasts on the network, so I hope you will check out the Texas Hill Country Podcast Network and listen, rate, and review to some or all of the podcasts. We are the only podcast network in the Hill Country, and we're bringing a wide variety of topics to you for your entertainment and enjoyment. If you've got a podcast or you'd like to consider starting a podcast, please give us a shout. There's a link to contact us on the Texas Hill Country Podcast Network, or you can email me at tfox@tfoxlaw.com. This is Tom Fox. Thank you so much for listening to this episode.